everybody, welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson,
I'm Tom Hovland.
and we are going to get right into it. Talladega was a great weekend. Wish I was there. I was getting major FOMO from everyone that was out there posting. It's always such a great time out there. But Tom, let's start off with our Diecast of the week. What you got for us, man?
Well, we're going to Dover. So you think Dover, you think Jimmy Johnson, you think Jimmy Johnson winning. I still don't remember where this car is from, but it could be from Dover. I bought it at a flea market, but we got some race win decals all over it and some confetti. So a nice classic Lowe's scheme from later in the Jimmy career.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Beautiful. I did not know that you owned the Jimmy Johnson diecast.
Yeah, it's one of those. I just found it at a flea market, and they had that and the Gordon one I showed for Martinsville a couple weeks ago.
Hey, well, there you go.
They were like $10 a pop. It was a steal
Always the best to go to those kind of places to get diecasts.
for sure.
All right, so yeah, you mentioned it. It is Dover week, so I had to bust out Kevin Harvick's 2018 Dover win from the year that he just went off. He got 8 wins that season, looked amazing, and of course, Joey Logano stole the championship away. But classic Jimmy John's paint scheme. I miss them in the sport so much. They always did so much, and they interacted with the fans all the time too. It's just a shame to see them go.
Oh yeah, but you know, it's what happens with NASCAR sponsors these days, and they're in and out. You get new ones, and it's not like it used to be.
Yep, exactly. All right, so let's get into our top stories. Erik Jones announced that he will not be running Dover this weekend due to a back injury from the crash that he had at Talladega. Corey Heim will be replacing him in the 43. Erik Jones says it's going to be week by week, so we'll see how I guess it's going to be a 3-week recovery or so.
I was doing some quick couch doctoring, if you will, just like WebMD type stuff, and depending on how bad the fracture is, it could be 3 to 6 months. And like these, and we kind of we saw it with Bowman last year. Even when he came back, he still wasn't 100%. And yeah, this could be a big old bump in the road for Erik Jones and whatnot. But a great opportunity for Corey Heim. Any seat time you can get in the Cup Series is great. But yeah, unfortunate crash. We'll get into it later, but it was a scary looking one. I had more than one person saying that looked like a certain 2001 super speedway crash. So
Yep,
safety's come a long way,
too.
but yeah, safety's come a long way, but there's still more that could be done. But again, it's racing. They're going 190 miles an hour. It's inherently dangerous. This stuff is going to happen, and we're lucky we don't see it more often.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, like you said, huge opportunity for Corey Heim. This is going to be his Cup Series debut. The kid has looked pretty good in the trucks. He's been doing great in that Sam Hunt racing car, and Legacy signed him as their reserve driver this year, and it's going to work out for him. He's going to be able to put down some laps in a Cup car. So, unfortunate circumstances, but huge opportunity for this kid right here.
Yeah, and I'd say pressure's off for him too. He's just going to go out there and log laps and learn. Like the only pressure is on him is to go and learn what he's doing and how the Cup Series works and start building a rep for himself and a name for himself in the Cup Series with these veterans. Because we know a lot of these relationships go a long way, and these guys have been racing with each other for years and years. They're going to have new guys come in, and the earlier you can get in and say like, "Hey, I'm a good guy. I'll race you clean," and we'll see what kind of relationships and storylines come out in that aspect too.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Alrighty. Well, it was also announced that Kroger Foods is going to possibly be leaving JTG Doherty Racing. Going to be parting ways, and it also sounds like the G in JTG Doherty, Tad Geschiker, is going to be parting ways and maybe moving to another team. Tom, what do you think about that, man?
Yeah, I guess the Kroger brand and Tad Geschecter, they're very much intertwined. Like he's had a good relationship for a lot. I mean, it's a big sponsor for a little team, and you kind of wonder if they maybe want to go, if they would want to go somewhere else. And but it's that G of JTG that's been keeping him over there. So if the rumors are true that he's out as part of this, thing, then it could be a big get for another Cup Series team. And what I'm hearing, it's to Joe Gibbs, which has its own other wormholes. But I'm not too knowledgeable on that whole side of the situation, so I'll probably just leave it at that.
Hmm. Yeah.
But it's a big sponsor. They come out with fun cars. I mean, it's a great way to get a lot of different partnerships involved. I mean, Kroger's on the car every week, but we see it. Sometimes it's Cheerios, sometimes it's Cottonelle. Like when he won the 500, it was Cottonelle. We saw Thomas's Bagels on it this week. It's just fun to see the different brands coming back and around for NASCAR. And this will be a big get for whoever picks them up.
Yeah, definitely I would say one of the highest paying sponsors in the sport right now. So yeah, I'm sure the bidding war has already started, and we'll see how JTG Doherty Racing will hold on to the Cup Series. If
Yeah,
they totally
I
disappear, if they rebrand, we don't know.
you wonder with this. This is their main sponsor. Who else do they have in the pipeline, or is this just going to be one of those things where the timing is right and they tap out? I mean, there's rumors of maybe colleagues selling charters. There's rumors of Stuart Haas cutting one or two charters. And so this could be adding a third up to a fifth charter being available. And so maybe we won't see that $40 million number for a sale anymore. Brad Daugherty, does he want to stay in the sport? He loves racing. Um, does he want to stay in the sport? Does he find a different business partner? Does he go find a Dale Earnhardt Jr. to be like, hey, I got a lot of this stake in a charter and I got a good car and it's a Chevy car right now. Do you want to bring Junior Motorsports Cup racing with this charter? You'd only have to pay a quarter of it, a half of it. That could be a good option, or amongst other things, or he just cashes out BJ McLeod style. So it'll be interesting to watch. It seems that the charter market's going to be hot, but for different reasons this year, and we'll see how that shakeup turns out.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see. Going to be a really, really busy, silly season, Tom. All right, so we had an update on our All-Star race that is going to be happening at North Wilkesboro Speedway next month. They announced their new tire experiment that Bob Pockrass said that they're going to be trying to do. So they're going to be starting off with two sets of prime slick tires. I really hope this isn't a sponsorship from Logan Paul. Really hope that. They're going to do that for their tire test, and they're going to do option tires as well that are slicks but made with tread from rain tires. So they're really trying some stuff out of the box here. And they're going to be using those tires throughout practice, qualifying, and the race. They're going to be starting on these option tires for the race, and then they'll be able to figure out whatever tire that they want, whatever tire compound they want throughout the race. So it's going to feel a little like Formula One here for NASCAR.
Yeah, you're having choice of tire compounds. This is You're getting my true reaction here because I saw the post from NASCAR, but I didn't read into it. There's just a lot of information overload. I was busy this afternoon. So this is my genuine reaction. My biggest concern off the top of my head is like when they run the wet weather tires, like we saw at Richmond a few weeks ago, NASCAR like mandated when they were allowed to switch back to slicks and whatnot. And that would take away the whole point of doing two different tire compounds. So I hope it doesn't turn into that where it's like you have to run this tire and then you have to run this tire. If we can add more variables, the cars all being the same will not be as big of a deal. Because if somebody wants to get on a softer tire and try to drive to the front, but they know it won't last as long, that's going to make for good racing. But if NASCAR says, all right, lap 1 to 40, you're running the option tire, and then lap 40 to the end, you're running the prime tire, that would kind of negate the name of option tire. So
Yeah.
I
They can
guess
actually they can use whatever tire they want. Even at the start of
okay,
the race, they can have a different tire.
okay, good.
So it doesn't matter. NASCAR is not going to force anything. It's all going to be up to the team. So should be pretty interesting how this is going to come into
Listen,
play.
yeah, listen, we see the All-Star races. A lot of people say it's oh, they just want to go do gimmicks, but some stuff catches on and whatnot. I mean, we got stuck with that 550 Gen 6 horsepower package because it ran really well in the All-Star race and whatnot. Way back in the day, they learned to crab walk the cars with Sam Hornish Jr. and that was immediately banned. They're like, that's too
Hmm.
good. So the teams can test out some stuff. The NASCAR gets to test out some different rule changes, and if we get tire compounds for ovals, why not? Let's give it a go. I'm pretty sure Indy does it. IndyCar does. Works out okay for them. Obviously F1 does it. I don't. F1's still so boring, and I tune in every time, but um, I there are allegedly advantages to softer tires at certain times and whatnot. But at least they're trying something and not having to do with aero.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. Especially at a shorter track like
Mhm.
North Wilkesboro, that doesn't matter. We got to
Right,
work on these tires. So yeah,
right, and
we're gonna see.
it's the All Star race. Do what you want. Have some fun with it. It's not a
Yeah,
regular format. It doesn't pay points. It pays money, but like, why not? We're begging NASCAR to try something. This is their opportunity to try something. So,
yeah, love to see it. Hopefully it works out. But one thing I'm excited about this All-Star race is we get to see the Pit Crew Challenge come back once
mhm.
again. I loved it when I was a kid. I loved it when they brought it back last year. Just so much fun to bring more
Yeah,
just like fun
these
stuff going on during the All-Star race weekend.
these pit crews are wanting it too, and these teams want their pit crews to do well. We saw the fight after Texas on social media about who has the fastest one lug pit stop, and Hendrick and I forget who else and Joe Gibbs were all like, well, I'm pretty sure like 8 point this is shorter than that. And then the new Mavis commercial that we saw this weekend with Denny, maybe it's been on the air more. I don't think we saw it locally, but it was all over Twitter.
Hmm.
The pit crews in the commercial. And like one good thing that Fox is doing, it's getting a little bit wild, but they're showing off pit crews each week. And I think that's really good because we are seeing the pit crews come down to it. So for them to have their own competition and their own way to show off what they can do and give themselves some proper spotlight is really cool.
Yeah, they've always been the unsung heroes of NASCAR. Nobody really knows who they are. Like, for the average fan watching that nobody has no
Mhm.
idea who the hell they are. And it's good to give them like a little
They're so
preview of like
important
who they
too.
are, where they come from, and yeah, they're the most important part of that team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
so
won
it's
Denny
great to see.
Hamlin Richmond. They won Kyle Larson a championship. Like they these pit crews matter.
Yep.
And we should know who they are, at least on the surface level.
Yeah. Hopefully NBC will pick that up going into the second half of the season because so far I love it. All right, man. Well, let's talk Talladega. It was a wild weekend for the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series. We had Jesse Love winning the pole. This guy has been a master at qualifying. Just absolutely amazing that with the start that he's had to RCR.
Yeah, he's carrying that momentum he had with the ARCA series last year, and he's showing really good results and making a few rookie mistakes here and there, but he's also learning from mistakes, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so one to go in the first stage. Justin Allgaier.
Mm,
He just gets spun by making a bad move in front of the 98 of Riley Herbst and hits the wall, hits the inside wall hard. And it's kind of that wall where it comes out at an angle. And it seems
hmm
like cars are always catching right in that spot and just a nasty lick, but he was able to come out. Um, and yeah, he was able to come out under his own power. So good for that. But man, Justin Allgaier, it's either been so close to the checkers or he's
Yeah,
wrecking.
feast or famine. He's still sitting there fifth in points, but you're wondering what could have been if he stays in for this stage and he wins out at Phoenix and whatnot. He's just they got to put together a consistent string of races here pretty soon. But yeah, just too early to be mashing around. I know there's points available, but putting yourself in bad spots and getting and taking yourself out of the race more than anything. And
Yeah.
then again, the wall angles, the Jeff Gordon angles, so to speak. We got to figure out something with those. I don't know if they can just make the whole wall, just change the angle of it so it's not this and then this to maybe just the whole thing's a softer angle all the way down, and they can still have those entrances and exits. But
Yeah, I know
yeah,
they
it's a
made it at that angle to kind of
mhm.
soften the impact because before when it was just straight, we've seen some really horrible
Yeah,
wrecks, but this isn't helping whatsoever. So I don't know.
right,
I think it's gonna
right.
be dangerous regardless.
I'm not a track engineer,
Yeah,
so who
they
knows?
know what they're getting themselves into.
Yeah, like we said it once already. This is an inherently dangerous sport, and stuff's going to happen. we also seemed like with Blaney at Nashville last year, these cars find walls that nobody ever thought they'd hit.
Yeah.
So, but there's a lot of improvements. I mean, you see the safer barriers at basically any exposed wall now at all these racetracks. You see these back stretches fully paved, which can help slow the car down a lot more than a grass backstretch. I mean, again, back in the 70s, that car is spinning there and going across grass, not scrubbing off any speed, and then hitting a bare concrete wall. Or if anything, there's just like a dirt berm and they jump up into a lake. Like this is the best case scenario, but we can still, as these cars crash more, we can find more spots to make them a little bit safer.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and RCR looks good in the first two stages. Jesse Love wins stage one, and Austin Hill was able to hold off the field to win stage two. They are just fantastic on these super speedways, man.
And you see Jesse Love picking up a lot from Austin Hill and whatnot, and that relationship is growing much stronger based off of how
Last
Austin
year.
finished with his last teammate. So,
Right. All right, and Shane Van Gisbergen, man, he was looking good throughout this race. He's
mm-hmm.
really, man, he makes this look easy going on these super speedways. He's like, all I got to do is just keep the pedal down, turn
Yeah,
left, say no more. But
yeah. As
he was
long as he's
leading
not
some of this
getting
race,
run
and
over, like he's doing great, and he's settling in quite well. Um, and more than you'd expect at all these
mhm,
different types of racetracks. I mean, he's competing in the Xfinity series. He's
yeah,
right there.
and we've
He's
seen a lot
14th
of
in
guys.
points. He's 14th in points.
Yeah, we've seen a lot
Like,
of
yeah, he's
Ford
in a good
racers
car,
come
and
over,
mm-hmm.
and they just can't do what this guy's doing. This guy is a generational talent right here. I and he looked good throughout the Cup Series race as well. I really think that SVG, if he keeps it up, I think he could get himself a full-time Cup Series ride next
Oh,
year. It's crazy to say, but man, this guy already looks so good. He can
yeah.
compete for wins, and that's not even on
Well,
a road course.
and he's an interesting enough story that sponsors might be more interested in him. And like one of the deals with that 16 cars, AJ Allmendinger wasn't bringing sponsorship, so he wasn't going to run the full Cup Series season. But if you get Wendy's on board and a couple other colleague sponsorships to be like, yeah, let's put him in Cup. Let's see what he can do full time. I think that 16 can go full time again next year. Um, and yeah, and I know our Australian fans and our New Zealand fans are screaming at me right now. They're like, he's won 3 championships. We know he's a good driver, but again, it's oval racing. It's a different thing. I know it just looks like turning left, but as much as we say we can, Ian can't do it better. I
Nope.
can't do it better. None of you can do it better. Just because it looks like it's driving a car doesn't mean it's driving a car. So yeah, we understand he's got high accolades in racing, but still coming over here, going across overseas, sitting on the other side of the car, it is very different. And
Yeah.
we're genuinely impressed.
Yeah. I mean, you look at guys like Juan Pablo Montoya, Kimi Räikkönen, Kamui Kobayashi,
Mm-hmm.
all renowned race car drivers throughout the world, and
Yeah,
they have had some really rough times trying to adjust into NASCAR. So yeah,
for
it takes a
sure.
lot to be
Marcos Ambrose
successful in the
got a
sport.
win or two maybe,
He had
but
two
only
pit
on
lane wins.
only on road courses. Again, he is another supercars guy that came over.
Yep,
So it's going to be interesting to see who else makes the jump because we saw Cam Waters come in and drive in the truck series. And then the guy that came and drive for RCR, his name's escaping me. Uh, but
I know
we're
who you're
seeing,
talking about.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're seeing a little bit of an insurgence here. They're seeing us, they're seeing what Shane can do, and they're like, I think I can give it a go. I race Shane, I know how that works, and if he can do it, I can do it. So it's fun. And again, that's another great thing about NASCAR in general is it gives these opportunities. If somebody builds a car and wants to enter it, they sure can. There's no FIA blocking rules. There's no like if you. That's why NASCAR leaves open spots so these guys can come up and show what they can do. It's really
yep,
cool.
it is pretty damn cool. All right, so moving on, we got a wreck for Brandon Jones, Jeremy Clements, and AJ Allmendinger and Kyle Weatherman. My pick for this weekend.
Mm,
This was after the 48 of Parker Kligerman and the 9 of Brandon Jones try to go for the same real estate, and they just end up spinning each other.
yeah,
Or the 9 ended up spinning, the 48 kept going, and 9 just collected everybody else, but just continues the bad luck for Brandon Jones this season in 9.
it looked like my biggest fear on the interstate when I'm like in one of the lanes and I want to go to the center lane and somebody like if you just they came across at the same time and it's neither their fault. I couldn't even blame the spotters. It was literally like there's like both their spotters probably at the same time. They're like clear on the inside or clear on the outside, and you can move up a lane, or you can move down a lane, and they just came together. Um, but on the interstate, I'm not going 180 miles an hour, so um, makes it that much more scary.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. Just really unfortunate for Brandon Jones.
Yeah,
He's had one hell of a past 2 seasons now with Junior Motorsports. It hasn't worked out the way he thought it was going to. But
there's still
moving
time.
on,
There's still time.
oh
Maybe,
yeah, there's still
maybe
time, maybe.
get a Richmond water heater.
Right? Austin Hill, he gets loose off of the bumper of the 48. Parker Kligerman at it again. No, he's just trying to push the 21 and just got him in a weird spot. You know, they had those bumps over there in the turns 3 and 4.
Yeah,
Just got loose and spun and
they're throwing
collected.
blocks. It's how these races turn out. And they had a little back and forth on Twitter. They're like, both of them said, like, man, I wouldn't do anything different.
Yep.
And it seemed like a beef that never was. But um, that's just everybody complains about throwing these bad blocks, and you get these drivers after the race, after one actually happens, and they both go like, yeah, I wouldn't do anything different. So like maybe the drivers aren't so concerned about bad blocks. It's just the culture that is super speedway racing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just racing. That shit happens all the time. And then another guy who's just had some horrible, horrible luck this season, last season, Sheldon Creed. He gets spun by the eight of Sammy Smith, collects Parker Kligerman and Josh Williams.
Ugh,
All these guys were having great days, looking
excellent
for
days.
their all looking for their first career Xfinity win,
Hmm.
and just ended up in a junkyard. I mean, that is Talladega. You got to expect that to happen. But man,
Yeah, but that
I was
graphic
rooting
they
for
kept
all.
popping up, they're like, look at how many wins are in the top 10 right now, and it was like 12. No, there's like 20 wins, but they're only by two guys. Like,
Yeah, right.
you were gonna see something special here. And yeah, those guys were needing good runs, we're having good runs, but again, you get this high energy, you get the adrenaline pumping a little bit at the end of these races. All people stop lifting.
Yeah. All of them have the opportunity to win, but it'll have to come another
Mm.
time because Jesse Love was able to prevail in overtime and get his first NASCAR Xfinity Series win. Pretty
I
damn
loved
cool.
I loved hearing all the Cup guys talk about the ending of this race, where I felt like everybody. You hear Blaney in the booth as it was happening. He goes, "Oh man," when they pull out from behind Brendan Poole,
Yeah.
and he's like, they're learning right now, and they're not understanding that if they stick with the guy, that it's gonna push the other guy to the win and give yourself a better chance to keep that momentum going. Denny Hamlin saying anything you can do on these racetracks to keep your momentum up. If getting out of line and not pushing is going to keep your momentum up the best, you do that. If staying in line and smashing into the guy and bumping him to send him forward and pulling yourself forward, you do that and whatnot. So my biggest disappointment with this final lap, first of all, we had another super speedway fuel race, which was kind of scary at the end. And that's the flashbacks that
To
Jesse Love
Atlanta.
mentioned in his post race and on Twitter, and he wouldn't shut up about it. But my biggest disappointment, Haley Deegan up there restarted fourth and immediately dropped.
Yep.
Nobody would go with her, but she didn't seem to be making the right moves anyway to stay up at the front. And I was like, you had your opportunity to get your top five and get a really good finish, and you blew it. You finished, where'd she end up? 12th? Yeah,
I don't.
12th,
Yeah.
which is still a good finish for that team.
Yeah.
But it could have been so much more. It could have been so she was up there running with Anthony Alfredo, who finished third at that restart, and she just dropped.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of stuff I was talking about last week, where it's like you want to see her take these opportunities and get the best finishes she can, and she fumbled here.
Yeah. Big
But she
time. I
came home
mean,
with a clean
so
car, so
yeah. Clean car at Talladega. That's a win in my
mhm.
book, especially if you're a small team like that. Um, so pretty cool for Jesse Love. This guy, I mean, this is his ninth Xfinity Series start, and he got it done. He's been looking great all year.
Yeah.
Some bad luck came his way a few times, but he was able to get it done, and now RCR has two winners now in the Xfinity program.
How he saved enough fuel,
Yeah,
because they were setting up that final restart, or the second to final restart when Shane ran out of fuel, and they're like, Shane should be good to go, and then he immediately doesn't go.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesse had pitted before Shane. And you're like, how's he enough fuel? And then he comes back around for the cooldown lap, and then he does a long ass burnout, and then he does another burnout, leave it. Like, where did all that fuel come from?
Must have been pretty good at saving it throughout those
There's some
final laps, I
conspiracy
guess.
theorists out there. That's all I'll
Yeah,
say. But he's NASCAR said he's good. Why not? Congrats, Jesse Love.
yeah,
First of
sure.
many here. First of many.
All right, man. Let's move over to Sunday for the Cup Series race. Michael McDowell gets his second career pole, and that's only the second of this season. This guy's been in the Cup Series for so long, and he's got
Mm.
two of his pole wins this year. We know that he's been on a heater for the past two seasons, um, making a name for himself once again as a winner. And he's just out here with speed at these super speedways, man. This guy knows how to get it done.
I love his career path. Um, you know, all that grinding, being a back marker for all these years. As soon as he could get in some better equipment or get some better backing, that car would start producing, and he would start producing. I mean, he's got hundreds of starts in Cup Series races. He knows what he's doing. He knows what these cars do. The cars just always haven't been capable. Now they've got the Ford backing. Now they've got the Penske partnership. These cars are capable and they're fast and they have raw speed, which is great. And
Yeah,
that's what we said going
love to
into this
see it.
weekend. We said Ford needed to show up this weekend, and they started off strong.
Yeah, definitely. The front row's been looking great with Michael and Todd. Kyle Larson, he had to do a pass-through penalty for failing inspection. I guess I don't remember exactly
They
what
were
was
they were
his.
pushing the car to the grid, and NASCAR saw a crew member like messing with the roof rail.
Yeah,
And so they're like, nope, you can't qualify, not allowed. Oh, and by the way, you're gonna have to do a pass-through penalty. But surprisingly, no more penalties to follow, which is a little concerning, confusing. That's that Hendrick conspiracy mobile, Hendrick
yeah.
conspiracy machine working their magic again, as we saw the Stewart Haas cars get dinged earlier for roof rails in the season. But no,
Yep.
they were just messing with it. But you can just do a pass through and you'll be
I,
fine.
yeah, I think that's fair enough of a penalty. I don't know.
Yeah,
It didn't really
doesn't
seem like it was
doesn't bother
that bad.
me.
No.
We know these races are long, and we know with the stage breaks, you're gonna get your cautions. He's gonna get his lap back eventually. But coming down to the end of stage one, that was very interesting to watch him leading the field as the car in 37th. Um,
Yeah,
that
he
was
was just trying to keep
they
his
was trying to
lap.
get his yeah he was trying to get his lap back
Yeah.
the quote old fashioned way um instead of using the free pass, as they
Mhm.
say.
Well, I mean, if there's one guy that would do it, it's Kyle Larson.
For sure.
All right, so Hamlin having some issues getting on the pit road. Just locked it up and spun.
The
Tapped the
track was a little
42.
wet. Track
Yeah, it
was a little
was.
wet in and out of
Yeah.
pit road.
Yeah, exit and entrance of pit road was wet. We also saw Corey LaJoy spun on
Hmm.
the exit of pit road as well. So yeah, I mean, it downpoured that weekend at
Right.
Talladega. Huge track and can't get all that water out of there.
No, for sure. And it's an old surface at this point again. Like stuff's gonna seep out slowly.
Mhm.
I'm glad NASCAR just kind of let them go. They're like, hey, we know that the racing surface is good. If there were weepers in the corners, they'd do something about it. But the racing surface was good, and they're like, the puddles are there. The spotters can see them. Let them go. If they hit them, they hit them.
Yep, and they did hit them for sure. BJ McLeod, he was looking great throughout this race in the first half, leading some laps, running up front with the big boys. He
Hmm.
just sold his charter with him and Matt Tiff last year, and he's just bringing this out. He's just bringing this car out there to run, and man, he was having some fun out there until he had that
Yeah.
issue where he got into the wall and ended up laps down. But just love to see that speed out of a small team for BJ McLeod.
And that was a product of the type of racing we saw. Again, he's coming as an open car. He's probably getting next to zero Chevy support, so he's not in all the teams chats and the text chains about, oh, we're gonna fuel save and we're all gonna run 50% throttle. So when he drives to the front, he's full gas like he's always been probably, and he gets to the front and then eventually runs out of gas. I will commend him for this. Really cool to see him lead this race just on speed, even if everybody else wasn't going 100%. But also, really good to not quote unquote LePage the field. I know it's not a the same scenario, but he very well could have wadded up a ton of cars right off the bat here because he ran out of gas and he had nowhere to go. But he put that thing just about as close to the fence as you could
Yeah.
without wrecking everybody. So commend him for running up front and commend him for not wrecking the whole field.
Yeah. He's a smart driver, and I mean that's why he's friends
Hmm.
with like three-fourths of the garage.
Yeah,
The guy
yeah,
is
and
just very likable.
for sure. Everybody was happy to see him there.
Yep. Alrighty, so moving on. Austin Cindric edges out Chase Elliott to win stage one. Photo finish. Crazy.
Hmm.
Just
Good
love to
points for
see
the
that.
two. Good points
Oh
for the
yeah.
two. They're struggling this year as they have been for a little bit, but we
Yeah.
know this guy's
He's
going to
been
show up.
struggling since that Daytona 500 win.
Yeah,
He has not been anywhere
yeah, no,
close.
no, but he moves up after just this race. NASCAR showing he moved up 2 spots in the points and he's in 19th, so he's knocking on the door of that bubble spot. Um, Unfortunately, just the performance hasn't been consistent out of there, so they're got to maximize when they can, and they sure tried to today.
Yep. And he doesn't have a worry in the world. There's no way he's leaving that car with where his
Mm,
dad is.
mm, mm-hmm. I have thoughts.
Yeah. So does Mike. He's Cindric's
It's like
biggest fan too.
why the would you rather have somebody perform well in the car versus your son? Like, I don't know. Moving on.
Yep. We can say the same thing about the other Austin as well, man.
Oh, oh my goodness. Kyle needs a good teammate. Tired of this.
Yeah, that it's just hilarious. Every single week, Kyle Busch is just outperforming that three car. Same equipment.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on. Chris Buescher, man, hell of a move by him. Threatened the needle
Oof.
between Joey Logano and Austin Cindric. I mean, he found a hole and he went for it. May have touched the two a little bit, but what a ballsy move.
That's the nature of these track position and fuel saving super speedway races that we're seeing. Like the two and the 22 have to do that to keep their track position. But man, that was a scary moment. And he's like, well, I'm gonna send it because I'm here. And he can't lift now.
Yeah,
And
worked
man,
out well.
yeah, for a
Hell of
little
a
bit at
move.
least, for a little bit.
Yep. Joey Logano won stage two, and then we had a big stack up on the front stretch. Christopher Bell, Justin Haley, Chase Briscoe, Zane Smith, all involved in this wreck. Just something you don't want to see for Christopher Bell. He's had some good runs this year, but he's also had some pretty bad luck too. So
No, yeah,
definitely didn't
that's
want to add that to the list.
that team is an enigma and whatnot. And what did he end up finishing? Was
I
he
think he
was
wrecked
35th.
out.
He was
Yeah.
35th, yeah. So or no, sorry, that was the stage two results. Where was he actually finishing? Probably still around there.
Hmm.
No, he didn't end up. Where is he? What the hell? I've lost him completely. It's not important. No, he
Yeah.
did. He finished last. Last.
Oh
There, I
yeah.
couldn't find him because I didn't go far enough down. He finished last. So again, not
Yikes.
enough points stay, and it's we're seeing at the end of these races and whatnot. And you're like, man, you got to take what you can get. I mean, Christopher Rex out of Texas, Rex out of this race. These two very low finishes. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess he didn't wreck out of Texas. He still ran all that race,
Yeah.
but still, like, what could have been if you just take the speed that the car is giving you, finish 10th, you can rack up all those points instead of getting your 30th place points.
Yeah, for real. Alrighty, and we had some trouble for the Toyotas on their strategy pit stop. Going down the backstretch, all lined up.
Oh,
John Hunter Nemechek. Man, oh man, this guy just surprises me week in and week out. Pushes too hard on that 23, shoves him into the 43 of Erik Jones, and the 43 does a Dale Earnhardt-esque crash at Talladega at the very same angle.
mm-hmm. And as we
And
find out later, it fractures his vertebrae.
yeah, very unfortunate. He was on the radio screaming my back, something you don't want to
Just
hear.
hard to hear, hard to
Um,
listen to.
yeah, gave me just memories of what happened to Eric Almirola years ago at Kansas Speedway.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Eric's okay. He was able to walk. They took him to the hospital, and like we said at the beginning of the show, will not be running Dover this weekend. Corey
No.
Heim will be in that 43. So speedy recovery for Erik Jones. He's a stand-up dude. One hell of a driver.
for
and
sure.
yeah, definitely deserves to be back in that
Listen,
car as
we
soon as possible.
I guess Bowman last year got his sprint car injury, which was very similar to Jones's injury, about the same time. It was around Talladega week, and Bowman wasn't back till the end of May for the 600. So I mean, again, Jones could be out uh, a significant amount of time here. But
Yeah,
this strategy call, man, it caught the rest of the field off guard. It was such a big brain thing. Yes, they needed to push, but I don't understand how they fumbled so hard. They're running a line and they took out 4 cars. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
yeah,
Um, but it's just like you heard they played Randall Burnett. His radio, it's like, oh, the Toyota's pitted. We're trying to figure out what to do about it. And by that time, it's already too late because the Toyotas are pushing, making up 4 seconds a lap. And by the time they pit, all the Toyotas come out many seconds ahead of the field once everybody decides to pit. So yes, this worked eventually because this caution caused everybody to pit for fuel and put the surviving Toyotas right up front. But at the same time, I was so curious to see how this would run out and play out, uh, just with the element of surprise.
yeah. Would have been cool, but John Hunter Nemechek,
Mm.
not a smart move by this
Yeah,
guy, but this
he's
will,
learning, and you hate that he has to learn at the expense of his teammate,
yeah,
both his
it's,
Toyota teammates and his shop teammate.
yep. All that experience and all that winning that you
Mhm.
did in the Truck Series and Xfinity Series, it doesn't come over to the Cup Series. You got to relearn. You got to take it by the Cup Series book. It's completely different game here. And yeah, he's just fumbling the ball hard. All right, and that takes us to the finish here. Michael McDowell, man, oh man, he was looking for his third career win here, but made a horrible block on Brad Keselowski 2 times, 3 times. Nope, man, that's not going to
Yeah,
work. You're going to
yeah.
get
They say you
spun.
get one, you don't get a second one.
Yep.
I almost thought that Brett he never even made contact with Brett. I think he just got down too low, caught the apron, and overcorrected.
Yeah, must
Um,
have.
but yeah, it was interesting because everybody's bemoaning the fuel saving and whatnot. But as soon as all these guys started going hard, you couldn't pass again.
Yeah.
Um, and you got these 2 lines that aren't moving very much. They're just kind of going this way a little bit. And Mike McDowell's able to block some lines sometimes, but it was that those last 40 laps left something to be desired and whatnot. And my goodness, I thought Kyle made a great move to go to that third lane. Again, like Denny was saying, keep your momentum up. Do what you can to keep your momentum up. And Kyle caught the train at the right time, and freaking Ty Gibbs threw a block and killed that whole line. We were about to see something special, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, that was frustrating to watch. Um, but yeah, and then the big wreck at the end was wild,
Yeah.
just insane.
Very wild. Corey LaJoy almost flipped, ended the race on his side. I don't think I've ever seen a car actually end up on their side, finishing the race across
Yeah,
the finish line.
we saw Boyer at Daytona roll across the or slide across the start finish line upside down, in that old Jim Beam car. And then again, it was reminiscent of Martin Truex at that Richmond race when he was in the 8 car and he was wall riding.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so that was interesting. And again, Fox didn't even tell us about it till I was texting my friend, and she was like, "That was crazy," and I was like, "Yeah, did you see that car that flipped? Because I just
Hmm.
saw it live." And she goes, "Somebody flipped?" Like, yeah, yeah. It's like it was easy to miss, but man, frustrating end I'd say it was a good race. Frustrating end for a lot of these people. Again, Ford's had 4 cars lined up on the inside ready to take this out, and a Toyota came away and steal after everybody's saying Toyota killed their race. Uh, so definitely frustrating for Fords. They're still not able to win this season,
Yeah.
and haven't won since Martinsville last year. It's been 6 months now. 6 months.
That's insane. They won all 3 championships, Truck Series,
Yeah.
Xfinity Series, and Cup, and Ford has not won in all 3 series yet
Hmm.
this season.
It's weird.
Absolutely
It's weird.
insane. Yeah. So I was thinking, yeah, maybe it's that dark horse with the Cup Series, but I mean, it's all three series. That program's got to
Mhm.
do something. They got to pick it up. But I mean,
Yeah, granted, Spire and Tricon are really strong in the Truck Series, and
hmm
then obviously Joe Gibbs is a force to be reckoned with, and Junior Motorsports are going to be forces to be reckoned with in the Xfinity Series. Ford doesn't really have a huge stronghold. They have their SHR cars, but we know the SHR has been struggling of late, and you that's gonna trickle down to the Xfinity Series too.
hmm
Um, and so yeah, and with the new body, it's trimmed out in the Cup Series. It goes fast in qualifying, but they just can't seem to figure it out.
yeah, they gotta figure out this Ford. But Tyler Reddick wins at Talladega. This was his first win of the season. First time Michael Jordan's been at the track
Hmm.
seeing one of his cars wins. He always goes, but never saw
Yeah, they
one go
kept
to
saying that
victory
Michael
lane.
Jordan was bad luck.
Yeah, right. So finally got it done. Especially he had the Jordan brand on the 45 as well. So pretty damn cool for Tyler Reddick. Brad Keselowski second, trying to
Mm,
break that 107 race winless streak, and Noah Gragson third place, best career finish. Looks so close to getting that win. He stayed top five, top 10 all day. Fantastic for old NG.
yeah, for sure. Again, what could have been for Brad, for Noah. I mean, Ross Chastain was up there. He almost hung on to the car.
Hmm
Everybody's saying in the replays it looked like Ross Chastain just decided to turn right into the wall, but he got clipped by Martin Truex.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good. My dad texted me. He's like, "Why is there a car with a Mercedes logo on it?" I was like, "It's Jordan."
That's
um,
what my dad thought too. He's like, "Is that
yeah,
Mercedes?" Like, no, that's Jordan.
yeah. And then yeah, just seeing Michael Jordan victory lane and how happy he was. Front Stretch on Twitter, Front Stretch Motorsports or frontstretch.com. They had a great video of Michael Jordan down there with the team on the ground watching the final laps, and seeing Tyler come across the line and celebrating and genuinely hugging the guys. And he wants to be there.
Yep.
And it's fantastic. He said it in the victory lane. He's all in. Um, he wants to be a part of NASCAR. It seems he wants to be a part of NASCAR for a long time. Um, and it was a great weekend for them.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. Michael Jordan held Tyler Reddick's son like from
Hmm.
pit road all the way to victory
Yeah,
lane.
and
Joking
he's
around
got
with the kid. It was just so like that kid doesn't even know that he
no,
was in
no,
the
no, no,
arms
no,
of greatness right there.
no.
Like
They
he's
Bob Pockers asked Tyler at the media center afterwards. He's like, "Does he know Michael Jordan, the basketball player, or Michael Jordan, the shoe guy?"
yeah.
And he's like,
He's the
and
shoe
Tyler's
guy.
like, I should show him some Michael Jordan highlights to show him who I'm truly working with here. I guess he
Right.
doesn't know I'm being a bad dad. Yeah, but the images of Bo and Michael Jordan's were some of my favorite images of the weekend.
hmm
Um, just so cool at how integrated he is into that team and that atmosphere of
Yep.
2311.
I mean, who would have if you told me
Yeah.
5, 10 years ago that Michael
Hmm.
Jordan was going to be celebrating victory lane with a team that he co-owns with Denny Hamlin, dude, I'd call you a crackhead, dude. I'm
It's
sorry. That's just
fantastic.
insane. But I
And
love it, man.
it's great for the sport. It was going viral on Twitter for all these different reasons. I saw different celebrities congratulating him, um, talking about it on ESPN just generically. They're like, "Hey, did you see this? Michael Jordan won a NASCAR race." Like legitimately, like it's good. It's good publicity,
Yeah,
and it's
exactly,
great.
man.
Hmm.
Cool to see, but congrats to the 45 team. Um, I thought the racing was pretty good for the Cup Series race on Sunday. The fuel mileage didn't bother me. Honestly, I didn't even realize that they were
No,
saving fuel until they
and
said it. I was
listen,
like, you can't even notice on TV.
listen. It's a 500-mile race. They're not. Nobody's even in regular. You look at the Brickyard 400. You look at the races at Kansas. These guys will race harder at the end than they do at the beginning and whatnot.
hmm
They build their race cars and they build their strategies to get to the end. No sense in wadding up the car on lap 90 if you can't be there for lap 188. So
Yep.
like all these people complain is like, well, it's not real racing. It's like they've never been doing this. I mean, all those years of Dale Jr. setting them up in single file choo choo train up by the wall. What do you think they were doing? They were riding around logging laps. They weren't
Yeah,
racing. If somebody wanted to jump out of line and do it and pass, there was an issue with the arrow in the car, but also like nobody wanted to jump out of line. They needed to log the laps to get there at the end. Um, and so I feel like NASCAR fans have this super like fantasy wish list of what they think a super speedway race should look like, and it's hurting the general population of the sport. It's just like, well, they need to be going 100% all the time, and it's not practical.
yeah,
It's not practical. If they go 100% all the time, you're going to see 6 cars finish this race, and
yeah,
it's not going to be fun to watch.
yeah. Not smart at all, but man, I'm very glad that they were able to go 2, 3 wide doing this
Hmm.
fuel strategy saving and not make it a one line choo choo
Right,
train
and that's the
because
other
this
thing.
is more exciting.
If you're going 60% throttle and it's such a track position race, somebody wants to spend a little bit more fuel and drive to the front. They were more than capable, which we saw right at the beginning. Ross Chastain went from 32nd to second in 10 laps
Yeah,
because he said, I want to be at the front when everybody pits so I can come out in the front. Like it was possible. But again, then you got to that last 40 laps and you saw the product of them actually going 100%. So is that what really NASCAR fans want? I don't think so. That
yeah.
looked a lot like the ARCA race if anybody watched the ARCA race. One guy, let me explain it to you. One guy led all 75 laps of the ARCA race and they were single file on the bottom the whole time. It
Yeah.
was nothing happened. It was caution free other than the halfway break to do modified pit stop. Like, oh, it was infuriating. Um, but again, those last 40 laps, nothing was happening
Yeah.
and they were going 100%. So be careful what you wish for. Careful what you wish for, NASCAR fans.
Got that right, Tom. Well, I think that's a good spot to end our show. You got anything else to add, buddy?
No, sir.
All right, guys. Well, make sure to like our video, subscribe to our channel, and make sure to check us out on all of our social media platforms and our merchandise store. All the links will be down below. So for the Stock Car Spectacle, I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Tom Hoblin.
And we'll see you guys next time. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Tom Hoblin.
And we got Dover Motor Speedway coming up this weekend. Probably one of my favorite tracks on the circuit. I love the Monster Mile. Always puts on a hell of a show. Tom, how you feeling going into the Monster Mile?
It's exciting. It's always been it's kind of a unique track. It's like a giant Bristol. It's concrete. Creates a lot of issues. You can see a bunch of different lanes and whatnot. And for those fans going to the track, you get a scoring pylon. So congratulations.
Yeah, about time we get a track.
Nothing like the Dover Motor Speedway Twitter account dunking on their own company, being like, "Look, our pylon's lit up and ready to go this weekend." Like, come on! Like, you think about it for a second, it's like, yeah, they own Texas too. Like, that scoring pylon's probably not going to be there much longer unless we put up a fight for it. But
yeah, they
save
probably
the
left
scoring
it
pylons.
there. Yeah.
If you
Hashtag
can't
save
save
the scoring pylons.
if you can't save the short track package or the super speedway package, at least give us a scoreboard.
Yeah, so we
But
don't have
don't
to
worry
look at
about
our
that. You
phones
got
and
it
it's a
with
lap
Dover.
behind.
Dude, yeah, it's a lap behind and like there's no internet connection anyway. Like
No.
they can just look at their phones. It's like, have you guys been to a NASCAR race? NASCAR, have you been to a NASCAR race?
Yeah. And when they
Anyway,
show it up on
enough.
the big screen, it's like they only show like the top
Yeah,
5. I'm like, okay,
it's
this is very
6
helpful.
drivers. I'm sure that people have heard enough about the scoring pylons.
Yeah.
But yeah,
man,
at Dover, it's there. So
yeah, thank God. So we got the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series this weekend. Trucks are off. They'll be back at Kansas next weekend. So for the Xfinity Series, we got the Bet Rivers 200 miles, 200 laps. Stages 1 and 2 will be 45 laps each, and the final will be 110. Last year's winner was Ryan Truex. weekend of greatness for the Truex family as he won the Xfinity race and his big brother won the Cup Series race. Most team wins here is Joe Gibbs Racing with 7, and Chevy is the leading manufacturer with 17 wins here. Some notables we have in this one: Daniel Dye will be coming into the 10 for Colleague Racing.
Cool.
Taylor Gray, yeah, Daniel Dye. I don't know, man. That's a big kick in the
Cool.
nuts right there, right?
Good for him. He's gonna
Yeah.
he's gonna light it up.
Yeah. Oh, Colleague.
No,
Taylor Gray will be in the 19 for Joe Gibbs. Ryan Truex will be in the 20, and Corey Heim will be back in that 26 for Sam Hunt Racing. So, Tom, Saturday at Dover, who you got going to victory lane, buddy?
uh, I couldn't get my mind off of him. I just couldn't. It's a concrete track, a big old mile long concrete track. I feel like Justin Allgaier is the king of concrete, and he will get it done in his brand sponsor. And it's time for him. He's had some bad luck, and then he has some good luck, and then he has some bad luck, and now it's time for him to have some good luck. And I wouldn't say there's any better luck than coming away with the trophy.
Yeah, I'd say so. The guy has 2 wins here at the track. Looks fantastic every time we come here. Like you said, it's concrete. He knows how to run Bristol
Mhm.
too, so this is gonna be hopefully a walk on the park for him. He's just got to stay out of trouble like he has been through all season. But I have to stick with the leading team in wins here, Joe Gibbs Racing, and I gotta go for that 20 of Ryan Truex. Won here last season. Just fantastic, great story to see. I would love to see him go back-to-back years at the Monster Mile.
For sure, and it's kind of a home racetrack for them. We learned
Hey, he
last
has
year.
like 15 different tracks. That's their home track.
Yeah, but maybe this is the homiest racetrack. I don't know,
Yeah.
but be a great story for him to go back again. This is going to be one of those tracks. We're back to a more normal track where we're going to see the best in the series rise to the top. We won't see a bunch of like Alpha Primes and RSS cars finishing in the top 10 here, which good finishes for them last week as they got, but we're just going to see more of the bigger, the harder punchers get up to the front here.
Yep.
So any Joe Gibbs car, any Junior Motorsports car, you expect Cole Custer and his teammate, what's his face, to be up there again in the 98. Why can't I think of his name? There he is,
Riley
Riley
Herbst.
Herbst. Yeah, there he is. I got there. I got down to the list. Uh,
Oh, he's been pretty forgettable this season.
yeah. So again, you look for any of those bigger name racing. Again, Parker Retzlaff with Jordan Anderson Racing has been qualifying really well,
Hmm.
which has been interesting to see. So uh, I guess we can throw the RCR cars in that list too. Those guys are gonna show up and be your front runners.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, a Gibbs or a Junior Motorsports car, maybe not any Junior Motorsports car, but any Gibbs car probably could get the job done here.
Yeah, I believe so. Would be cool to see for Taylor Gray.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's good seat time, and
Yeah.
that's what it comes down to with a lot of these guys. I mean, we joked about Daniel Dye, but it's good seat time. Get him a different spot.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Alrighty, well, let's move over to Sunday's race for the Worth 400 for the Cup Series. 400 miles, 400 laps. Stages 1 and 2 will be 120 each, and the final will be 160 laps. Last
Long
year's
race,
winner,
long
yeah,
Dover race.
very long race, gonna be exciting. Martin Truex Jr. won here last year. Some notables that we have in this one: AJ Allmendinger is going to be in the 16 for Colleague Racing. Corey Heim, like we said in our last episode, he will be substituting for
Hmm.
Erik Jones, who is out with the back injury. So good luck to Corey Heim this weekend in his Cup Series debut. And Jimmy Johnson, this is his best track. He's got a shit ton of wins here, man. He will be in that 84 for Legacy Motor Club. I hope he has a better showing than all of
Yeah.
his other showings he's had in the 84.
Again, don't expect Jimmy Johnson to light the world on fire.
No.
I not you don't want to compartmentalize stuff, but like he had his Hall of Fame career and now he's having his retirement career. He's just going out there because he wants to.
Yep.
And
Just
you can't
loves
take
running.
anything away from it. He just wants to run. He's a different kind of car. He doesn't do this every week. So um yeah, don't expect Jimmy Johnson to light the world on fire. He'll be running back
No.
there with Carson and Zane and yeah. Oh
I
well.
don't know, man. Carson's been running up front this year, man. He's been looking he's the best driver over at Spire right now.
Yeah, I guess he is, isn't he?
Yeah, I would just
He's
love to see that for that
he's
organization.
he's worth a follow on Twitter too if you haven't bit that bullet. He
His
responds
comments
he
under
responds
Jeff Gluck.
to Jeff Gluck's poll every week saying whether or not he thought it was a good race or a bad race, and
Yep.
he's a hoot.
Yeah, he's
So
a good
yeah,
guy to follow. At first, man, I hated this guy. I thought he was just a dipshit and really opened up last year
he's
and
worked on himself. He has,
become a
and
smarter driver.
even then we saw what he did in the truck championship. But it
Going for a
is,
championship, man, you're gonna do some
yeah,
stupid shit,
yeah, I
especially in
guess.
the truck series.
But you'd also expect somebody to act like a champion if they're
Yeah,
trying to win one. But I don't
but
know. There's two sides of that coin.
pulls that he's gonna be humbled real quick in the Cup series, and so far he's been looking pretty clean
Yeah,
and
yeah.
pretty fast.
Again, he's just got to have a Ty Gibbs type of rookie year where he put his head down and run well,
Yeah,
and try to stay out of trouble.
yeah. Don't make too much noise. So most team wins here is Hendrick Motorsports. They got a whopping 12 wins, and
Jimmy
Chevrolet.
has a bunch of those.
Yeah, Jimmy has like probably like 3/4 of those wins right there.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is just including the spring race because they stopped doing the fall race
Mm,
4 years ago in 2020. And Chevrolet leading the way with 22 wins as the leading manufacturer. So you went first last time. I'm gonna pick mine on Sunday. I gotta go with Tyrone Gibbs. I
mm.
think this kid has just looked really good throughout his sophomore year. He's been super close to getting that first win. I think he's hungry. This
Yeah,
is a great track for the Toyotas. They've been racking off some wins in the past few years. Yeah, it's his time. Ty Gibbs, he's too good of a driver to let this winless streak go on too long.
the Ty Gibbs teapot is about to start whistling. You can feel that pressure building, and it's not negative pressure in the sense that like, oh, pressure's on him to perform. Pressure is off of him, and he is building up the pressure towards the front of the field. And it's just one of these days where he's going to learn to finish out these races.
Yeah,
And we're waiting for it, man. As much as everybody hates Ty Gibbs, we're waiting for the Ty Gibbs. We see it coming.
yeah.
So, and again, we're
Ty
back
Gibbs
to
is
a
going to be around. I at least want to see the
yeah,
Ty Gibbs we all know
yeah,
and love.
for sure, for sure. Well, maybe not all of us love him, but
Yeah.
um, I will be a unapologetic Toyota stand for the rest of my days after they gave Kyle the career that he got. So as much even with Ty Gibbs replacing Kyle at Joe Gibbs, I'm still cheering for him.
Yeah,
I
you
still
still
want to
want to
see
see.
him do
Yeah,
well.
it's the team that built Kyle into the guy who he
Yeah,
is today. So, I mean, dude,
yeah.
like I have no
When
hate
Kyle
for Ricky
retires,
Childress.
when Kyle retires, I'm probably not going to pick another driver. I'm just going to support my Joe Gibbs team and be happy with that. If you like more drivers, you have a more chance to win, right?
Yeah. Hey, there you go, man.
All that being said, I'm going to pick a Joe Gibbs racing car, right?
Yeah.
No. I was on the fence. I'm literally teeter-tottering. I was telling you it's like 51%, 49% for either the 11 or the 24.
Hmm.
And I'm leaning towards Hendrick, and I'm leaning towards uh, William Byron here.
Yeah.
I just I just think it's his season to lose right now. I know Kyle
Too
Larson's leading the
good.
points, and Kyle Larson would be a threat. I think Chase Elliott could come out and win this race. Um, but I think we're going to see another fight at the front between Chevy and Toyota. And until Ford wants to come and sit at the big kids table, we're going to see between Hendrick and Gibbs the premier teams of this series at this normal track. Um, so we'll see how it plays out. You hope there's not weird tire issues. Um, Dover can get a little sketchy, just the way you come out of turn 2 and out of turn 4. The track really gets narrow in those places, so
Yep.
we'll see how they all handle it.
Really easy to come together and spin each
If
other out, man. We've seen it a lot at this track.
if RFK could have kept their momentum from the end of last season, I would say they're a threat to win this race. This would be the RFK type of track, but again, we're
Hmm.
not seeing Ford as much of a threat. So until they win a race and prove us wrong, we're going to keep picking the Gibbs and the Hendricks to win these cup races at these mile and a half tracks. It makes too much sense. And
Yeah.
until they prove us wrong, which Ford needs to get a move on. But we'll see Blaney run at the front. We'll see Brad and Chris run towards mid-pack, maybe. But again, we're probably going to see another track position battle, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Pit stops are going to mean anything, and hopefully, especially if it goes green, you're not going to see too much passing on the track. At least that's what I'm expecting to see on Sunday.
Yeah. We shall see, but very well said. I hope Ford can get out of this hole that they're in right now, because I would very much love to see that, as both of my drivers I root for are in Fords.
Yeah, I mean they're there, but they're not knocking on the door. They're still walking up the front path, walking up the front walk, and they're in the yard though. They're in the yard.
Yes, they are. All right, buddy. Well, got anything else to add before cars hit the Monster Mile this weekend?
Nah, man, I do really like Dover. Yes, it's a mile long. Yes, it's just an oval, but they got high banks and wide turns, narrow exit. Like, it's just a really good track.
Yep.
And I enjoy watching the races there, and I hope to enjoy watching the racing this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, my favorite track to run whenever I hit it up on iRacing. For some reason, I'm just so damn good there. I think I have the most wins out of my career is there at Dover.
I can't win it all in iRacing, but
you got it.
I remember
it is hard to freaking save those tires, man. It took me like 2 years till I got my first win.
I was enjoying a Dover race. I drove up to the front, and I was in the truck series, and I was leading laps, and then my tires went away, and I finished a lap down. Like, man, it was sad. And then you look at your tires after you get in the pits, and they're like, they're at 95%. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
How is this possible? Except I'm pretty sure I ran my right front down to 0% in the trucks once, which, that's just flat.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's just a good track.
Yeah, it's fun.
And get at least a little bit further up northeast, get them some NASCAR racing, which is cool.
Yeah, love to see it. I can't wait for tracks to hit Dover this weekend. So guys, if you haven't yet, make sure to like our video, subscribe to our channel, make sure to check out our social media links down below and our merchandise website as well. And yeah, that'll do it for us. So for the Stock Car Spectacle, I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Tom Hoblin.
We'll see you guys next time. Enjoy the racing.